Officially leaving the ranch to head straight to Houston, and then at 8 p.m. I'm gonna get on my 17-hour flight to Australia. This is definitely a crazy day. It's gonna be wild to think that I literally left straight from a tournament to go to Australia. So I guess this is the outro of the WTF Open video and the intro to the Australia Nationals video. So I will see y'all at the airport. I got to the airport, met up with my family, and it was time to get on the plane. We all got rows to ourselves. Here's Meemaw getting settled in. She was in the row right behind me, and my mom and stepdad were a few rows away. Thank goodness this flight was half empty. Otherwise, 17 hours in economy would have been torture. But we each had an entire row to ourselves, which honestly made the 17 hours go by so fast. I think I slept like 13 hours of it. And we were met with the most incredible view of Sydney Harbor and Port Botany on the way in. We landed around 7 a.m., cleared customs, and then headed towards the rental car area. The rental car pickup took a little bit longer than necessary, but eventually we got it. And because my stepdad and I both work out at the Port of Houston, me part-time, him full-time, we had to go check out their port in Sydney. You weren't allowed to take pictures or videos of the port, although I could have got away with it. I am a rule follower. But they did have this really cool lookout area that had a variety of these informational placards all around it. Australia has a ton of these national parks, and we didn't really have a plan for the day, so we just decided to drive around and check out a few because we couldn't check into our Airbnb for another 5 hours or so. And let me tell you, Australia has some of the coolest birds, but also the most obnoxious. For example, these birds that sounded like loud cats meowing. Now, I'm not a fan of heights, crazy I know because I'm a flight attendant, but I had to look over this view of this cliff. It made me a little nervous, but it was pretty cool. We did a little more exploring, and then it was off to get some much needed brunch and caffeine. We found this adorable little spot called the Grumpy Baker. They had a pretty wide variety of things to choose from, like pastries, meat pies, sausage rolls, and of course, coffee. Somehow I didn't get any pictures or videos of the inside, but I got this seafood meat pie that had giant shrimp in it, plus salmon. We also got this almond croissant and this apricot Danish. Everything was really good, but my favorite was definitely the almond croissant. Next, we headed to Waverley Cemetery, which was opened in 1877 and is considered to be one of the most beautiful cemeteries in the world. I have always been fascinated with the cemeteries, especially older ones. Even as a child, I loved them. I don't know if it's a product of going to so many funerals when I was younger or what, but I just absolutely love them. I think they're so beautiful, so peaceful, and I can definitely say this is the most beautiful one I've ever seen. Something about overlooking the ocean and the contrast between the dreariness and the bright flowers. It was just gorgeous. And we got to see this adorable kookaburra sitting up top of this grave. He almost didn't look real, and I was able to get really, really close to him. He looked like he was the protector of this grave. It was really cool. And apparently I'm not the only one that enjoys cemeteries, because it looks like people have been working out here. Next, we drove by Bondi Beach and then headed up to this overlook at North Bondi Rocks. Since we didn't plan on actually hanging out on the beach, there wasn't a need for us to go pay to park over there. Instead, we found this free lookout. We got to see the big rock, which is also known as Mermaid Rock because it used to have a mermaid statue on it. However, they have since taken that off, and this rock was believed to have washed up during a storm. Next, we headed to the Sydney Fish Market. I am a huge fan of all kind of markets, but especially fish markets. They had everything you could possibly want. The most giant lobsters I've ever seen, fresh caught fish, crab, oysters, you name it.
He's crying because he lost his one hand. So sad.
Markets are great when you're traveling with other people because you can each get a little bit of everything or each get what you want. This sushi taco was my absolute favorite thing. We ended up just grabbing a few things each and heading to the Airbnb since it was finally check-in time. Here's a little quick walkthrough, and this is really all we did that night because by this point we had all been up way too long and we pretty much just ate our dinner and went straight to bed. And that is it for this video. Make sure to come back next week for part 2 of the Australia vlog. Bye!